We're
Yeah.
up.
Mhm.
Oh, we're up. We're
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
All right. Arwen got the notification. It's showtime, go time. We have a guest of the house, all the way from London, by way of Spain, by way of the UK, and we have made it. It's up. We're Adam, and we are ready to rock and roll, my friends. So let's see who is the first one in the chat. First one in the chat, we got Jeff. Jeff is the first one in the chat, and the chat is lighting up. We got my good friend over here, my good mate. We have Arwen. Arwen is visiting all the way from the UK, all the way from London. He's been in the group for a good while. He sells shoes. Tell him a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, hi everyone. I'm Arwen. I'm 25. I live in London in the UK, and I sell shoes on eBay. And I've been blessed and had a very good opportunity to come over and visit Tech, and it's been nothing but great and a life-changing opportunity to spend some time with him and learn about it.
That's right. So Arwen was here for a week. He left for one day and he came back. So now you're here for another week, and we're gonna have an action-packed week. We went to the Goodwill for the first time.
Yeah.
We went to the flea market over here for the first time. We went to the number one shoe seller
Yep.
in the entire world of pre-owned shoes. You learned a lot. But here we are. We're here. We're here to hang out. We're here to have fun. We're here to learn. We're here to teach. We're here to give as much information as possible. So if you have some information, please let us know. This is on a delay, by the way, so it's like 30 seconds behind. So if you guys do have any kind of questions, please post them into the chat. We will answer them. We will beat the chat. That is the mission. Again, if you have some questions, put 3 question marks in there. We got a couple records to beat. We need 753 people in the chat. That is the record. Put it out on the Instagram machine. Put it out somewhere. We have a special guest here. Please get it out. And then we need 850 likes. Please, 850 likes. That is the name of the game. And when the questions come through, we will knock them out. So make sure you give us a lot of questions, a lot of information we want to give. Let's hop over early to the Instagram machine and we will knock out some Instagram questions. And over here, tech tips for resellers right here. I posted the question, what kind of questions do we got today? Best way to list dresses.
Um, Take pictures, flat lay, and then get it listed.
Mannequin. I think the best way to list dresses is on a mannequin personally, because the flat lay, you could do it and kind of spread out the bottom. That's good. You do have to take ton of measurements, and you do have to take great care, great detail, be very fluent on the keywords. But ultimately, probably the best way is to use a mannequin, but flat lay is probably going to be the fastest way. What time going to the flea on Saturday? Any tips? They're looking for shoes. Arwen, we get at the flea market right when the sun comes up, right? So some flea markets, right as soon as the sun comes up, that's when you got to be there. Some of them start at 9 o'clock. What time do the car boots start in the UK?
From 5, 6, 7, as soon as you can get there. But yeah, normally it's very early.
So in the UK, you were telling me it's much smaller,
Yeah,
much less vendors, not as many professional vendors. And as soon as the cars open the door, people are grabbing the stuff.
literally.
It's much faster, maybe much more competitive just due to the size of the market and the amount of opportunities that you do have. Where when we went to the flea market last week, every single vendor just about had shoes. So that was a big change from what you're used to,
Yeah,
huh?
massive one.
So what kind of tactics? Give them 3 tips for London car booters. Give us 3 tips.
Definitely be there as soon as you can. I think being there the first one will always remove that what if. So that is a good one. The second one is be there as much as you can. So trying to be very consistent when going to the boot sales. People will start getting your face and knowing you by what you buy. And I would say the third one is always what Tech says, just ask, do you have any more? It can be at the back of the boot or it can be at their own houses or warehouses where they can just take you later that day.
That's very, very good. How long you learn about eBay and you can move stuff fast? So how long does it really take you to gain, a good understanding of eBay so that way you can kind of sell items at will? How long would you say it takes kind of the average person to get kind of like kind of an expertise on the eBay machine.
I mean, for me personally, I'm the one that always likes to say that I'm a constant student of the reselling game and I'm learning every single day. But when it comes to getting to the point of reaching a consistent level of sales, I would say within a few months or even a few weeks, if you just dialed in and like doing your research and everything, I don't think there's any reason for it to not work, really.
So kind of what were a couple of things that you learned that were, you know, kind of game changers to get you to the next level, if you can think
Yeah.
of a couple?
First of all, was joining your group, and it was the first thing that I learned was the title structure. For me, the title structure changed absolutely my entire business. Do you remember
Hmm.
when I posted 100 orders
That's right.
in the first weekend I
That's right.
joined it?
That's right.
That was for me, that was crazy. And then Wales, I would say nice pictures. Everyone can get nice pictures. You know, it depends on the backgrounds that you can have. And then the research. I think the research and Rolodex is our keys. So doing the research, knowing our markets and the price ranges.
That's absolutely right. And when we go to the flea market, we go to the thrift store, this guy's not looking anything up. He knows where to feel the shoes, where to he sticks his hand in. So when you come up on a pair of shoes that you want and you've passed a bunch of them that for whatever issue had an issue, what are you looking for? Take us through the evaluation of a shoe from your perspective. Because when he sees a shoe, this guy's out of here. We could be mid-sentence, this guy's up the road, he's out of there. And then you get the shoe. What are you feeling for? What are you looking for?
So the first one is soles. It needs to have a decent amount of sole left, or you say tread in English. So that's the most important because runners just want still want the grip. Point number two, if that's okay, is going straight into the back heels, the inside of the heels. Normally, due to the socks or due to the wear, you're gonna have some holes inside the lining, which is gonna be really annoying. And then I would say the last little secret for athletic shoes is to just put the hand inside, and then there is on the top of the toes. Normally, there is holes that are formed in the lining of the inside of the shoes, and most of what more than one time I've had returns due to that. So just it's a little tip.
Good one. Very good. No matter what, show up. What makes you show up every day? Arwen, you've been around me for a while. Hey, I'll tell you this. Today, our plans got a little bit messed up. I was supposed to have someone fly in, buy the remainder of my inventory. We were supposed to load, 15,000 items onto a U-Haul today, but it's been crazy weather down here in Florida, and he had a 7-hour delay. So we're going to try and get next week. But the lawn guys were here for my company, and we went outside and we worked on the lawn for 6 hours today. Me, Arwen, and my son, and I taught them a couple of things. Arwen's ready to go back to London to start his own lawn company after this. But you've been hanging out with us for the last going on 2 weeks, and we show up 18 hours a day nonstop. And I say that, but like you said, it's different seeing it. So we show up every single day, and it's raining down here, and we got to go to flea markets. I might go all the way to Georgia this weekend. Well, I'm gonna do what it takes to make sure we can hit some flea markets, we can find some stuff, and I can teach this guy what to do. So, from your perspective, tell us about what you've seen here about showing up.
For me, it's the thing that has been the most amazing was the optimization of your time. No second, no minute is left to guess or second plan of luck. Everything has a structure and everything has a reason. If something gets delayed, you or your wife automatically rearrange the entire route or plan and just find a way to fill 20-minute gap, whether it's you replying to Facebook comments, whether it's you replying to YouTube comments, editing, doing your listings, anything, but just keep working, keep working, keep working. Now we've had, since we came back from Plato's Closet, I think.
Plato's Closet, yeah.
Plato's Closet. You've been laying in that table just doing edits until this call was on. So it's just there's never a downtime. Yeah, it's just the automation of the time and just ready to do anything to go and get it. For example, I never realized that your videos, I said that to you the other day, today, sorry, that I thought your boot sales were down the road. I thought you was driving like 15, 20 minutes. You taking the car 4 hours up north and then another extra hour like at 5, 6 in the morning in order to hit one flea market, And it was like, wow, okay. You need to be out there. You need to be consistent and just do it.
That's right. And you've come with us to the flea market. And like this guy says,
Yeah.
showing up, having a relationship with so many vendors. We went to Plant City on Saturday. I didn't hit a home run. I found maybe 30 items, but we met a guy there who previously knew me.
Yeah.
And then I hit a home run in the parking lot from his car on items that didn't even make it out to the flea market. And then we went to another flea market, two flea markets that day, and a guy was holding stuff for me till 10 or 11 o'clock. And I went through them. I got first dibs. I bought the stuff. I didn't take all. I took exactly what I wanted, and the relationships is key. And the relationships you only get by showing up. So yeah, very, very that's probably first and foremost the one of the largest reasons to my success is just showing up every single day doing the work. What are your thoughts on trapping at the bando? You know what that means? Trapping at the bando?
No.
Give me your best guess.
Dropping at the bando.
Trapping at the bando.
I've got no idea. I've got no idea.
And this is kind of been like the best part of Arwen coming here because like he's amazed by our big gulps, he's amazed by our big chips, he's amazed by the big, Yukon XL or the Denali's trapping at the bando.
Trapping at the bando. I've got no idea.
That
Honestly.
means, do you know those guys who go to the abandoned buildings and find vintage clothes?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So abando is short for abandoned
Okay.
building. So what are my thoughts are sourcing at abandoned buildings? You got to be very careful. If not, you're going to end up going to jail. And every now and then, the guys who do trap at the bando, they do end up going to jail. So those are my thoughts on trapping at the bando. Make sure it's on the up and up. Any recommendations on sourcing buying used vintage clothes online? Just yesterday in the morning call, we had a guy who bought a bunch of bales from somebody. He ordered some North Face bales, 800 pounds of North Face. And shout out to him, great guy, turned it into a great learning experience. A good amount of it was fake. We're talking 100 pieces out of the 800 pieces was not legit, was fake. You have to be very, very cautious. You have to be very, very certain that the people you are buying for are on the up and up, especially if you are buying in bulk, especially if you are buying over the computer. So for me personally, and you've met my best sourcer, I would prefer to have somebody boots on the ground finding the best items for me rather than just putting my trust into something online because that can go bad real quick. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but I have never met a single person that can order a bale online, sight unseen, and they're happy with what they get. So you saw my best guy. We went to the bins. You saw how meticulous he was. You saw how he wanted everything perfect. He wanted to present me a perfect item because you said he explained if I have a problem with the customer,
Yeah.
then I have a problem with him. So ultimately, any customer issues, he took it upon himself to say that that's his fault.
Yeah.
So the differences in sourcing like that, it's much more time intensive. It comes with a little bit of a higher cost, but there is no loss. There's no gambles. There is no risk in the way that I'm doing it here. So I don't know if you have anything more for that.
No, I was just amazed by how well he knew you, by how well he knew exactly what you wanted. There was no shortcuts. If buttons had to be how do you say, like sewed back, colors, just washing it, just everything was perfect. Like it was how meticulous he was to give you the product. So yeah, as you said, I think it's is the perfect sum up is going to carry a small premium, but for you, everything that comes to your house is exactly what you want, and it's not a loss.
No losses ever. They said, why does eBay charge fees on the shipping labels? That's because once upon a time, people would sell a pair of Jordans for 99 cents with $299 in shipping. They would only pay the fee on the 99 cents. They would keep the $299. So because people wanted to abuse the system, now they charge the fee on shipping, unfortunately. Somebody says, can having a resale YouTube channel benefit your eBay shop? Pros and cons. For me personally, I don't have any experience with it benefiting eBay. I would prefer nobody from YouTube bought from my eBay store. I don't want to commingle it. I want each of them to stand on its own. And I would prefer nobody to buy anything on eBay just because it came from me. That's not my business model. If other folks have the business model, I got no problem with that. But I want to make everything sustainable, where if I get hit by a bus, my wife, my son, they're happy and it could live on. So like my brick and mortar store, nobody knows it's my store. I don't show my face over there for my eBay store. I never showed my face on Instagram. Once my eBay store was finished, that's when I came on YouTube. So I guess the pros could be you can identify some sourcing opportunities. Some cons are, you get, you can have a little bit of drama associated with it. So you really have to measure whether or not that's something that you are interested in. But like I told Arwen today, there is no way I would be able to do eBay at a high level and also YouTube at a high level. It's just too much time involved. Someone says, would you take the CEO position of eBay if they offered? Would you take it, Arwen?
I actually don't think I would.
Why?
I don't know. I think we are extremely lucky to have the freedom that we have, and just wake up and do whatever we want every single day. And ultimately, I know CEO is like the highest position you can get, but I think waking up and having the freedom is probably priceless, man.
I'll take it. Someone says, how do you combat not receive defect of 1% if USPS is losing the parcels? How do you combat it? If USPS is not reliable, then you can ship UPS or you can ship FedEx. It might be more expensive, but we have no obligation to use the post office. The post office is, in the best interest of us, because usually it's the most cost effective or it's the best value. But we are not forced. We are not obligated to use the post office. We could use another shipping service. Do you always print a packing slip in your eBay orders? I have never printed a packing slip. You?
No.
Never. Arwen's never printed a packing slip. All right, now to the chat. When did you open the brick and mortar store? When did you know you were ready? So when I started getting people helping me source, they were bringing me very cool items that were not eBayable. So a 1986 vintage North Carolina motorcycle rally shirt, very cool shirt, not eBayable. The only way to find that is by typing in very cool 1986 North Carolina motorcycle rally shirt versus a vintage 1986 Harley shirt that'll sell on eBay all day, every day. That in combination with me getting a lot of vintage sports shirts for the local teams, Marlins, Heats, Dolphins, Panthers, that stuff flies off the shelf. And I knew there was going to be no stopping. It was just going to be more and more. So that's when I decided to open up the brick and mortar store. You went by the brick and mortar store. What'd you think?
Lovely. First of all, lovely shop. If anyone can come by, go and have a look. But I really liked the way you the system that you had in place in your brick and mortar store. How you rotated absolutely every single item, how everything went, in different prices, different days. The promotions that you used there. I really liked it. Very, very, very smart way to move inventory.
I appreciate it. And just for a recap, we have Arwen over here visiting us from the UK. All the way over to Florida. He's been with me for a week. He'll be with me for another week, and this guy will make millions of dollars extra in his eBay career thanks to this trip. And I offered him the olive branch to come over after we did a podcast. 4 days later, this guy had a visa and a plane ticket. This guy doesn't play any games. He's moving and shaking. The world record for people in the chat is 753. The world record for likes is 850. I just liked the video myself right here, Arwen. I just liked it. I gave us a free like. Can we get some likes on the call, please? Over 3,000 people will watch this hour. If all 3,000 hit the like button, we can break a world record. And it's not my world record. It's not Arwen's world record. It is a community effort, a community world record. Arwen, this one's for you. What are some popular shoe brands in the UK that do better than the US?
Good question. I would say Brooks. I know you keep saying that. I look for them all the time, and I think they're very common in the US. However, I think they carry a more premium in the UK. So yeah, I would say Brooks. I think I would say Birkenstocks do very, very well in the UK. And then what else can I say?
What about those Chucks?
Oh yeah, Chucks. Yeah, Converse. Converse do extremely well. Chucks, either it's the Chuck All Stars, so the plain canvas ones, or if you can find any variants, so like any leather, cool patterns, that does very well, or the Chuck 70s, which carry a slight more premium than the normal ones.
There was a brand the other day, I don't know if you can remember here on the spot, where you said you can't keep it in stock. As soon as you list it, it's gone. Do you remember?
Yeah, Dr. Martens.
Doc Martens, there you go. As soon as you list them, they're gone?
Yeah, DMs.
Oh my goodness. Sophia says, Arwen, can you tell us what has been the best tip that I have given you?
Oh, you're giving me so many.
Arwen has like a CVS receipt of notes from the trip.
I would say, I mean, I really like, probably the chat won't know the whole context, but it's like everyone owns something, in the country. So you can dream as big as you want and you can still make it happen. And I think for me, coming to the US and expanding my not brain, but like my ambitions, you know, and seeing that normal people, because at the end of the day, you're a normal guy as I am, you know, it's able to make it so big. I think now when going back to the UK, I'm gonna think I can also make it happen, you know?
That's right. So for context, when we drive down the street and you're in awe of something, maybe a big building, I always say somebody owns that.
Yeah,
It's a like one guy or one
yeah,
lady owns that,
yeah.
or a partner's. Like it's not owned by the government. It's not it like people own that. Regular people own this stuff. So I think about that all the time. And when I started thinking about that, then like you said, it makes you much more ambitious that you could really do anything. And
Yeah.
and you know, you said like when you came here, you get that feeling that like, you know, I can do anything, you can do anything,
Yeah.
that anything is possible here. We have someone all the way from Korea. Is Korea the furthest? I've never had someone from Korea listening. Shout out to Sumiko Ishikawa, all the way from Korea. Is Korea the farthest one listening to us today? If so, super cool. All right, this is a softball question for me from
Yeah.
Angela in the group. Why do they call it a car boot sale?
So in England, we have the cars coming into the flea market, and then they will open the boot or the trunk
The trunk.
in America, and technically that's where you get your clothes, shoes, anything that you want to sell, and then you just put it on a table on the floor, and then you'll start selling. So technically, you just open the trunk and then you sell from the trunk. So that's why.
That's right. So the car boot is the trunk.
Yeah.
Now, chat, what is the hood of the car called in the UK? We're not going to tell them yet.
All right.
What is the hood of the car called in the UK? Juan says, what is your next business venture that you will be hitting hard at this point in your career? My next business venture is monetizing vacation. It's coming soon. We have Mia in the chat. You remember Mia, 8 years old? She knew the title structure by heart. Mia's in the chat, 8 years old. If there's just one listing for a low price, how do you know if it sells for more? So if you have an item, there's only one listing on ebay.com. Do you know of some ways or some tips that you can figure out if that's the real price or someone sold it for the cheap?
Well, you can always do check the sold comes from before. So just see what has been selling prior to that.
Last 90 days.
Yeah. You also have, if you want to even backtrack more than 90 days, you've got Terapic. So
3 years.
Yeah, up to 3 years of data just to know a bit more of the market.
Very good. And then you can assess the cooler than or not as cool method. So you can find something similar and you could say, you know what, the graphic on mine is nicer. The condition on mine is nicer. For whatever reason, this is cooler, better material, better pattern, then you can price more. Or if it's not as cool as a material, then you can price lower. Car hood, bonnets.
Yes, sir.
We don't call them bonnets over here. Daniel says, why is the UK so different to thrift? Is it moving towards the USA style? Do people not throw stuff away over there? Why is it different in the UK?
I think in the US, you're very blessed to have so many different routes to operate the business. We always talk about this, where here you can run a fantastic business by just having a thrift route. You can also do a flea market route. You can also do garage sales. You can also do, you can just do unlimited, the bins as well.
The bins, yeah.
Whereas in the UK, we have flea markets. And then the flea markets or the car boot sales, they would just be open from literally just a few months. So for us, those few months need to cover the rest of the year. Now, the second part of the question is very good because I would say that the mentality in the UK is a little bit less of giving away all of the things. I think people actually want to do a little bit of work and they will just go ahead and either list it on eBay themselves. Whether it's for a good price or not good price, it is going to be a sell online, or eventually use Vinted, just to get probably a bit less money, but just get the product moving faster.
All right, so we've been to 3 flea markets. Went to Lake Worth, Plant City, Silver Moon. Contrast those two. Lake Worth, we went, it was 40% full, still blew any flea market you have out of the water. So give us a typical flea market in the UK. How many vendors? What time, how long do you stay there, and the duration that they're open for the year?
So in the UK, the size of the flea market is going to depend solely on the weather. If it's good weather, you might have a packed boot sale, and that's probably going to be a good day. Now, having a lot of vendors doesn't always mean that you're going to strike big at the boot sales. The main difference that I found is you have so many professional vendors here in the US. And I remember you talking about this once in the group where you said once, it's not uncommon for me to leave one of the vendors and have 100 pieces of items at the same time. And I sort of like never believed that. But we went together at the one where it was 40% full.
Lake Worth.
Yeah, and it took me one vendor to probably get around 20 pairs of shoes, which is for me a full day of work done, you know. So I would say the amount of stock there is here available. I mean, you even keep saying to me the amount of stuff that I passed because I can't take it all with me back to the UK. So I would say that's one of the bigger reasons. And then the second one is yeah, I mean, it's just there's just how do you say it? Probably like less quality, I would say. And then if I had to compare the two that we went to, it really shocked me because we were finding a kind of shoe at was it Lake Worth?
Polkas and on clouds,
every single wear, everywhere. And then at the other one, completely different. A lot of yes, athletics, yeah, but different, not so high-end shoes.
So, all right. So you went to a couple thrift stores.
Yeah.
Compare the thrift stores between what we have here and what's in the UK. Because shout out to Simon. Simon goes to 50 thrift stores in one day in the UK.
Yeah.
He's getting it done. He's out there. So our typical thrift store, everyone here knows what a Goodwill is. Compare it to what you have back home.
I would say the size of one Goodwill is probably 3 or 4 of our charity shops that they called. Our thrift shops are called charity shops. On the price, I must say that the price was probably a little bit similar. Is it true that we still found some money left on the shelves?
We did.
Yes. And then the amount and the stock available on the racks and on the shelves was way higher than any of the other thrifts that have been in the UK. So probably we had 2 and 2 and then 2 and 2 again. So 4 for the men's, and there were way more
for the shoes.
Yeah, for the women's, on shoes. Probably in the UK you would probably have like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 probably counted pairs available, you know.
All right. So talk to us about garage sales. You guys have garage sales?
I've never been to one, and I've never seen them promoted anywhere. No.
How about the bins?
No, we don't have any.
No bins. So with that said, a very small window for the car boot sale, the flea market, very small thrift stores, no garage sales, no bins. And you always say the product is still out there. I just have to go get it.
Yeah.
So what is the mind state for that? Because you can see that and you can say it's not here, so I'm capped. It's not here, so I can't do it. Why is it's still here somewhere?
Because I started applying one of the things that you kept saying every single day in the group, which is do more miles, just put more work, you know. And for me, on Saturdays, it started taking an extra 45 minutes to drive from one flea market to another, and all of a sudden you have an extra 30 to 40 pairs. And it's not magic. The pairs have always been there. It has just taken me an extra 45 minutes to get there, you know. Are we always going to find that amount of stock on the field? Probably not. Hence why other people are also turning towards online sourcing, you know, but I'm not that advanced on that, and I can't really say too much on that.
Shout out to Adam. He said he can't watch live, but he legit just dropped in to drop a like. So Adam is a team player. He's trying to get us up to break the record, and the record is 850 likes. That's what we need. Sir Pedro says, I sell grunt style t-shirts, but I heard they were a Vero. I have heard they were a Vero as well. Review listing title order once more. So the title structure is default to best match. So if you can bestly match what the customer is searching, then you will get more preferential search placement, search treatment. And when you join the group, you watch the title structure video, and that same weekend you had 100 sales, right? So title structure absolutely matters, and we have to make sure that we are marketing our customers in a certain way where we know who they are, we know what keywords they're gonna use, we know what type of activities they're going to use for their particular item, and we have to make sure, are we marketing to someone who's looking for a Nike shirt, or are we marketing to someone who's looking for a Nike Kobe Bryant shirt? Those are 2 different customers, and those are 2 different title structures we need to have. We got Rachel in the chat. Rachel hosts the Poshmark call, and she also did the the death pile challenge today. So for 6 or 8 hours today, everyone got on the Zoom and they just listed away and they all did fantastic. So shout out to Rachel. When looking for eBay comps on new clothing, I rarely find comps scanning the barcode UPC, but I find a lot in manual search. Do you think it hurts or helps listing not to include the UPC? So does it hurt? Technically speaking, yes, because someone that does search for it, even if it's a very small amount of people, it won't come up. But is it going to make or break your entire business, or is it going to move you into a mansion by including the UPC? The answer is no. Yesenia says she came on to give us a like. We appreciate that. Can you find enough information about reselling on the internet?
Oh yeah, 100%, yeah.
100%. It's out there. It is out there. Look, if you watch all of my videos, I try to have helpful information, actionable information. It will set you towards a very good place. Morgan says, do you do international shipping? If so, what shipping method do you use for this? It all looks very extensive. So I use the eBay global shipping program, or now it's rebranded eBay International Shipping. You don't have to learn anything else. You don't have to do anything else. You print a domestic label, you send it to Cincinnati or one of the other hubs. eBay is supposed to repackage it, fill out the customs forms, handle the VAT. Once you get it to the eBay shipping center, you are totally off the hook. If it never shows up, if it breaks, if the customer wants to return it, if you have an issue, if you have something, eBay is going to handle it. So if you don't want to learn how to ship directly, you can use the eBay International Shipping Program for the US. What about in the UK?
I do exactly the same thing. I think the GSP is a great way to ship internationally.
Very good. D Nation says, never understood why people can't hit the like button. You're watching the content, at least give back. He's going to make us all millionaires. So here you go, Arwen. You're going to make them all millionaires. So hit the like button for my man, Arwen. Tracy says we could be brothers.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. Trust me, I'll take it. I have a local pickup that paid but hasn't responded to my messages to meet up. This happened yesterday. Where do I go from here? It's yesterday. Just keep trying. Send them a message. What is Arwen's biggest takeaway so far after a week?
I've got, so I know there was a previous question that was similar, but I'll give another one. For me, one thing that really shocked me is loyalty and relationships. I think I've learned so much that I can't even put into words. I think meeting your number one picker, that you allowed me to spend some time with him, which once again, I said it many times, but thank you to you, and seeing some of your relationships towards other suppliers and other people that work next to you. I think the amount of loyalty, the amount of respect that they have towards you, and vice versa, because you also really respect them. I think I now understand why you said find someone that you can grow with, and that's exactly been the case with you and your people. The way you both have grown, I think everyone should look more than for a product. I think they should more look for a relationship like that. That's just going to be, forever.
That's right. I agree with you. This question is for Arwen. Have you tried the flea market food yet? Have you had anything at the flea market?
We haven't yet, but we still have some time. So 100% we have to try that.
All right. So Arwen had Chick-fil-A. We've had it twice. Yeah. Tell them about it.
Oh, is the best one in the US. So
better than Nando's.
I put it out there, guys, in the UK. Sorry about this, but Chick-fil-A is above Nando's.
And my guys in the South, my people in the South, Arwen had a public sub today.
Oh, yeah.
He had a chicken tender one, and Arwen was a changed man. He ate the public sub. This guy was in heaven.
Say a word.
Very good. And you made us today some English tea, some proper English tea. You made it for my wife.
Yeah.
Very good. And you had pancakes today.
Yeah.
What else have you tried?
We tried all of your sort of drinks and
Mountain Dew. You've had Mountain Dew.
Wawa.
Wow.
We had I don't know, I know it's silly, but for me it's the first time,
And then you brought us a bunch of treats. You brought us what are the chips?
Quavers.
Those are good.
You love Quavers, yeah.
I like the jelly babies.
Oh yeah, you like the drumsticks.
The drumsticks, those are good. Yeah. So we've been doing all right. Arwen's gonna go home with another kilo or two.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Arwen, when are you gonna move to the US? Do you think you would have a better opportunity in reselling over here?
It's a really good question, and I think I will definitely consider it when going back to the UK. I don't want to say, because every single place in the world on holidays, we all want to
Sure.
go and live there, you
Sure,
know.
sure.
Have I seen how big my business can grow? Yes, but I've also seen other sides as the expenses. I never understood how many expenses there was in the US. And can you make a lot? Yes, but you also gonna spend a lot, you know. So yeah.
And look how many people knew it was a bonnet.
Oh yeah.
Way to go. What career accomplishments, whether it's working through challenges or earning promotions, are you most proud of?
Me?
Yeah, sure.
I think so. The best accomplishment I've done.
Yeah.
Um, well, I think I mentioned in the podcast, but I think it was getting into the property ladder
Yeah.
for the first time. I think that is my biggest accomplishment, and I hope that I can keep doing so.
So far, you're off to a great start. Absolutely. How is Arwin going to get all his great finds back to the UK? Suitcase or shipping? That's a great question.
Yeah. So we had an initial idea where I came with an empty suitcase, so the big ones, because it was filled only of treats for tech.
Yes.
So anyways, once the treats got given to tech, I filled the suitcase pretty much what at the second or third day it was
No,
already
the first
filled.
time we went to the flea market.
Oh yeah,
We went to the flea
yeah,
market and within a half hour, you had already filled the
yeah,
suitcase. So then we had a bright idea to get another suitcase at another church
sure,
sale that
yeah,
we went to for
yeah,
$5. And you filled that one up in about 20 minutes.
yeah,
So I guess now the plan is to take as much home as you can on the suitcase, and then we're going to ship the rest.
yes,
Just
sir.
as a trial run, because
Yeah.
if you want to expand, again, you came over here, you found the product.
Yeah.
We need to figure out how to get it over to you.
Absolutely.
Chat jumped. You see how the chat jumps?
Yeah.
It messes me up every single time. Angela just looked up why it's called a flea market. Do you know why?
Why?
Look it up. It's not
Okay.
good. So do people in the UK consume less stuff than Americans, therefore they have less stuff to get rid of or donate to charity shops?
Do people in the UK consume less? Yes, I would say 100%. And whatever they consume, I would say is more in their system, in the way they wired to just get something back for it. So they will actually go and do the work, you know, in order to recoup some of the money.
America's very wasteful.
Yeah.
Do you see it,
Oh
the
yeah,
difference?
yeah,
'Cause
100%.
like for me, like if I drink a water and it's
Yeah.
quarter full, I'll just go get a new one.
Yeah. And if I can give an example, is once again, I was very lucky to go to Disney, and thank you again. But we saw everyone's trainers on their feet, and we kept saying,
Yeah.
shoes are brand new, probably just for the Disney trip for them, and they're probably never going to be worn again. You know?
Sure. Yeah. Um, Nick Foles says, how much Stone Island do you find over there? It's still on his bucket list of items to find in the wild.
A lot, quite a lot, yeah, especially junior, big sizes. But once again, I think it's very important to do the knowledge, you know, and to know how to spot the fakes, because there's a lot of fakes out there. And shout out to Jamie that put an amazing call on the group about Stone Islands, and I have how about to legit checked every single piece. So yeah, I would really recommend to have a look to that one.
Will says, what's your thoughts on the amount of listings that can be done per hour? Pictures are already on hand. So I guess just the listing portion.
I list in about probably I would say maybe 35 listings. I think you can do 30 to 35. The other thing that I learned, if they want to know, it's the way you list. I was lucky enough to be at the back of the car and see you list. And let me tell you guys that hotspot or no hotspot, that stuff was quick. You know, that was taking seconds to do, you know.
Very good. Yeah, if you sell similar off a perfect
Yeah.
listing, it's no problem.
Exactly.
Danny says, my wife asked what I want for Father's Day, and he's hitting the flea market at 6 a.m. First time sourcing. Hey, that's an amazing Father's Day right there. My wife says, Arwin, Chick-fil-A or Pub Sub, who wins?
Well, I would say for Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you had the chicken tender sub, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Chick-fil-A, that lemonade is just something different.
Justin said, put him on the Puerto Rican food. Very good. What do we got? A lot of people like the pub sub. Cafe con leches. Look, Arwin, he's got all of that. Oh, the chat jumped. Oh, geez. All right. We're in bad shape, Arwin. The chat jumped. Where did we go?
Yeah.
All right. Texas for some barbecue.
Yeah.
Take him to the bins in Orlando on Sunday. They open up at 8. Maybe.
Thank you.
Sometimes when I put the UPC, it puts item specifics that are incorrect on the listing. I will only use the does not apply to put correct item specifics. Have you seen that? The reason why is because the UPC brings up the catalog and the catalog is incorrect. So this guy right here, that's the guy who we saw at the church
Yeah.
sale.
So massive thank you for that.
Did I take him to White Castle? I did not take him to White Castle. But I was talking to someone else, and right up the road, Mount Dora, I think they have a good flea market this weekend, but it's gonna be rainy, so we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. Mexican candy, you saw the Mexican Coke today. They have real sugar. We didn't get it though, but they have real sugar over there. Justin says, don't go to White Castle. I don't know if I've had, you know what White Castle is?
No.
That's the little hamburgers like this. You get like a dozen of them and that's it. So, all right, you were with the best sourcer that I have, and he probably asked me 10 times leading up to meeting you. He says, bro, are you sure you want me to show him everything? I said, show him everything. Bro, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Showed you everything. Great guy. The connections even over there at the bins within the bins was very, very powerful for him. So I guess people at the bins, you saw firsthand. What kind of advice just one day at the bins, watching this guy, studying this guy, could you give for people to totally maximize their bin sourcing experience?
I would say that for people to go and smash the bins, I think the most important thing, once again, is relationships. I think it was amazing to just see how he knew every single market that all the resellers were in, and just using that as to his advantage in order to get more product, how polite he was, how genuine he was when looking after people. How is everything? How's the family? How's this? How's that? And those are the little details, that just make the difference. Now, I just want to make something that he made me very clear is that those connections are not built in one day. Those connections took years and years and years and years of him showing up there in order to be respected and have the amount of sort of help and creating that community that there is up there in the bins.
All right. And then after that, we went to the #1 shoe seller.
Yes.
What were your takeaways from seeing that?
We spoke about it today, and I think for me, I really realized I'm very lucky to speak a few languages, but for me to see a normal guy once again from Miami, getting out of his comfort zone, where he only speaks English, to go and learn Spanish and French, in order to expand his business, for me was amazing, because it's once again is you take yourself out of that comfort zone and you just go and look for what's going to take your business to the next level.
And as far as the processing part, the shoes cleaning, the listing, the put away, all of that is the same.
Literally.
It's just the scale that he's been able to do it. And along with that scale comes, a lot of stuff that is not exactly eBayable. So like for my business at my scale, I had to have a brick and mortar store where a lot of the stuff that I get goes over there, still monetized, still profitable. And then after that, it goes to Whatnot. So for the #1 shoe seller, he has a massive exporting business for shoes, containers, all over the world, all different countries. So just having that secondary outlet and the tips that he gave you for getting shoes inbound, I think were really good, really important. Arwen, what's the best find in the USA so far?
The best find has been I was gonna say a pair, but it's been what, 16?
16 pairs?
16 pairs of player issue from the PGA Tour, from Matt Fitzpatrick. So we found 16 pairs of his own shoes. So yeah, that has probably covered the whole trip.
Yeah, that has covered the whole trip. And that was your goal. Your goal was to cover the trip by finding shoes, and you were able to do that pretty much on the first day. So very good. All right. So current resident says, can you put a listing for $1 in my eBay store, have Arwen buy it, and ship Arwen's extra stuff using eBay's discounted shipping? I could do that if I want to get suspended, but I'm not going to. So the answer is no. I am not going to do that. I will go right on Pirate Ship and I'll send it to Arwen on the up and up. Wanda says, what American item has a good resale in the UK?
What? That's a very good question. Like clothing wise or just in general? Anything?
Even shoes. I know you said Doc Martens sell great over there.
I would say I'd say like your vintage, the vintage that you guys have that you can acquire. I think it was amazing to go to the flea market. And I kept saying to you like all these vintage tags that I keep learning on the group, from you, how easy it was to find it, out there. So I think that would do very well. And then I would say, I don't know, anything really vintage and made in the USA, that can be sourced here is always going to command a premium over in the UK.
That's right. Will says, can you store blazers without having wrinkles? I like to put them in totes. Probably the best way is either going to be on a hanger or folded nicely in a box or something. Blazers are tough because they are, very dependent on how they are stored. But I would either store them on a hanger or I would store them neatly in a box. Which is the best live selling app? I think right now Whatnot kind of is the king, but they do have other ones. I know they have EZZE. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Maybe it's Easy Live. They have, I think, Did Bits is another one, and I think they also have Pop Shop. But I think Whatnot is pretty much running the show there. Is doing end and sell similar worthwhile or a waste of time? For me personally, I don't have any experience with end and sell similar. I think it's akin to taking something off of the rack and putting it back on. You're not adding any value. But I think if you're going to end it, make it better, add value. I think that you can find success doing that. And you were doing that today. You weren't ending, but you were revising them, fixing the keywords, maybe editing the price, and you've seen some success with that.
Yeah. So since I joined, obviously there is still a lot of items I'm still catching up and new ways to know better the market prices. Because at the end of the day, you always said, what's the point in pricing an item above market if it's never going to sell? And all of a sudden you find yourself bring it down like 10 or 15 pounds, and all of a sudden like magically offers come in and the item sells. And it's not magic, it's just there's a market and you just need to follow the market. So yeah, as you said, probably delisting or relisting is probably not the way to do it. But I would say if you're gonna change or tweak it, just make it better, because as you always say, we are better resellers today than we were yesterday.
That's right. And you know what? It's a little quiet today. I just remembered tonight is the NBA Finals.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of people are watching the game.
Yeah.
And your boy Luka Doncic is out there. And when you were back in your soccer days, Luka was over there. And I asked you, I said, did you know that guy was going to be great? And you were like, pretty much, because at 16, he was playing with men.
With the first team.
And he was playing in the first team. So I'm going to have you make a bold declaration here.
Yeah.
The Euros are next week.
Yeah.
I've already asked you, I think you're being a homer.
Yeah.
Who's really going to win the Euros?
I'd say live, France is taking the Euros.
France is taking the Euros. So in the chat, is France taking the Euros? Who's going to be their biggest competition though?
I would say England can get it this year, but for some reason they always flop, which don't tell them because they're out there. But I would say so, yeah. I would say probably England can be out there, and Germany. And if I had to call a underrated team that no one is seeing that can do some trouble, I would put my bet on Netherlands.
Netherlands?
Yes, sir.
Is going to be the dark horse?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're putting it on the record at 8:49 p.m. France is going to win the Euros.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to check back. And yesterday you had Albania, and my son beat you on FIFA 21, 5-4 in penalty shots. Yes, but he had England though.
Yeah.
You said, I'm playing England with a bunch of farmers.
Yeah.
Very good. They're saying, Arwin, are your eBay sales mostly to the UK or to the USA?
I would say 99% UK, and then there's the odd sale that comes into the US. I would say that for people, if they want to know what sells for me in the US, it's always going to be the Jordan style. I think there's a bigger culture of the Jordan over the US. And I would say the more athletic and bread and butter shoes will just go into the UK. So
for your sales are only in the UK, or do you sell to like Spain? Do you sell to Germany? Do you sell to Italy? Do you sell to Portugal? And so like the entire continent of Europe is about roughly the same size as the United States. Are you only selling in one country, or do you sell Europe-wide?
So the possibility for people to shop worldwide is there for them, so they can shop from wherever they want in the world. However, from what I've seen in the sales and everything, is that most of the sales are always within the country. And then I would say that every single time an international sale comes, it's either from the US, And then it used to be a huge amount of Germany, but Germany changed the rules. I don't know if you remember, you
With
had
the
to register the
packaging. Yeah.
packaging. So I took Germany down the list. So I'm not shipping there. But I would say US is now the number one country that would ship with GSP.
So let me ask you this without getting too much into the weeds.
Yeah,
The UK is not part of the European Union.
not anymore.
If it was part of the European Union, would it be easier to sell to those other countries, or it would still be the same?
I think it would be a little bit easier. I don't know how much people are getting not taxed, but like charged in order to acquire the product, you know. I know the fees have gone up massively. When I say fees, it's like shipping fees to send to those countries. And because eBay takes care of the GSP, we're not in control of how much is getting charged because we always see that is shipping plus taxes plus imports. So it's a whole packet. That's why I personally really like GSP because it's a whole in one and it's not a shipping that's going to cost 10, but then the customer is going to need to pay 20 to receive it, which at the end is only going to create problems. So that's why I like to just handle everything with GSP.
But if the UK was still in the
Yeah.
European Union, would that still be international shipping or would that be domestic then?
That would be international.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious about that. Um, all right. When am I gonna visit Arwen? Probably in 2 years, probably. I gotta conquer the United States and then I'll go over there and visit Arwen after that. All right, so you went over to the warehouse.
Yep.
Everything is real.
Yep.
Is it bigger than you see on TV? A couple of times you've mentioned the camera doesn't do it justice
Yep.
for maybe Disney World, maybe the warehouse. What were the kind of the takeaways from the warehouse?
For my biggest takeaway from the warehouse was I felt and I thought that the more items you had, and still I was lucky to come when only 10 or 11,000 are left. You know, I haven't seen the peak of your operation, but I said to you that nothing was on the floor. Nothing was left on the side on a pile in a place that I didn't have to, on a maybe pile. Everything was in order by colors, by dates. Everything had a purpose in your store. This room is for hangers, this room is for packaging. And it made me think that I'm running such a little scale operation compared to yours. And there's just things in left, right, and center, you know, like things are a little bit everywhere. And I think that sometimes when you have the clear vision, especially when you come into your warehouse where it's just a straight line and just nothing is on the sides, you know, you open, you close the door, you come, you take whatever you want, you package, you ship, done, you know. There's no million directions where to go and pick from here and there.
And you went to the photo booth, the photo station.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's all copy and paste, copy and paste.
Yeah.
You took photos. The first photo you took, 58 seconds. I gave you a couple pointers, 38 seconds.
Yeah.
What did you think of the photo process?
I thought it was great. I always thought, and I was the kind of guy that thought that Flaylat will just break my back. In all honesty, I barely felt it. It was most of the time it was standing up. And I just saw I see why you did it. Let's put it that way. And I think that with repetition, like everything, the mastery of that and the speed will just naturally come.
L says, is cross-listing worth it? I personally have zero experience with cross-listing. Have you ever?
I don't.
All right. They also said, do you have death piles? I don't.
I have a little one, yes.
So what is it?
It's probably like a few bags that are in the queue for me to, in case there's a rainy flea market and I can't attend it or they closed, I can just keep list that day. So I'm currently trying to hold and build up around a week just in case something happens.
So Current says, with ending your massive eBay store, will you really take a 50-year vacation or will you continue your other businesses inside of your 50-year vacation? So the plan is to see what life is like without eBay. You met Ever and Carlo, great guys. They were out here working with us on the lawn. They're the jefes, they're the bosses. They do a really good job over there. What was funny is, you know, we were talking about how hard they were working, and every single time, what did they say?
That you was working even harder than them. And I promise they literally said no because you was in front, but every single one of your workers always said how you always outpaced them working.
That's right. Because you have to lead by example. You can't be sandbagging, and they know when they go home, they know I still have work to do. So I don't know. And as soon as I finished the morning call today, I was right out the door grabbing the rake and we were out there working. So I have to stay busy. I have to stay productive, and I have to be always moving with a purpose. So I don't know. I got to see what life is like after eBay, and then I'll make some decisions. My wife is saying, what was the best park that we went to? Disney, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios?
I would say the one that shocked me the most was Animal Kingdom
Animal
by
Kingdom?
far. Yeah.
You like the safari, right?
Oh yeah, that was another world. It felt like I was in Africa and not in the USA.
So what was the best part of the safari?
The safari, I would say.
No, the best section.
Oh, where the lions were.
You like the
Oh
lions?
yeah.
And she said, what was the best ride?
The way is right. Well, she knows it, but it's for me was either House of Terror. I think that was the most shocking one.
Tower of Terror, the
Tower of
drop,
Terror. Yeah, that's it.
or the roller coaster, the Himalaya one?
Yeah, the Himalayan one.
That was a good one. And for both of those, I was on the ground. How do I extend shipping without a store subscription? Probably bulk edit, or you would need to do your business policies. Michelle says, Reseller Project says, she would try to visit, but I will put her to work. I had this guy doing yard work today. Our plan fell through. If he wasn't doing yard work today, we were gonna load a truck with like 10,000 items. So this guy was getting put to work, and he said, you know what? I would rather be here doing this than doing something else. And that's very true. And I'm telling you, doing the yard work was more important than anything else we did, because the whole time you're out there doing that, you're like, dare me to go list on eBay, dare me to go to the car boot, dare me to take photos. When you've worked very hard, it puts eBay into perspective on how good we really have it. So do you think you will get an itch to make eBay big again and be number one again in all the categories? What do you think?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
You think I will?
Of course.
No. It's done. When it's dead, it's done.
Oh, sorry, I'd read it wrong.
Someone
No,
asked
no,
me.
no. No, I don't think you'll come back.
And what about you? You want to be number one
I will be number one.
in the UK?
Yes.
That's what I like to hear. You say you will be number one. Arwen, do you think I will find item sourcing in the UK?
I think yeah. I mean, after you've taken your pictures with the people, yeah.
Okay.
I think you will smash the UK. I said that to you, and I think you think that there's less product, but everything is knowledge, and I've seen how you work. I've seen how you are at the flea markets. Is exactly what we see on the videos. Is exactly the same thing, and without a single doubt, you will just smash it.
Very good. Mayhill says they really appreciate us sharing the information with them. They make sure to click like on every single video. I appreciate that. It really helps a lot. We need a record. How many likes do we have today? I know we're soft today because the NBA Finals, look, it's NBA Finals or us, Arwen, and they picked the NBA Finals tonight, unfortunately. Trevor says they're going to Disney World this year, paid for by reselling profits. I appreciate that. Rachel says they closed Tower of Terror out in California. Corey says, why am I retiring from the store? Look, I've done this every single day of my life for 15 years. I'm very fortunate. I've been smart as I can be with the money. I have some real estate. I have other businesses that I've built with eBay money. I'm not on the come up anymore. I'm getting old. I'm 40 years old. My son is 21 years old. Empty nester, like it's just, I made a deal with my wife. We're going to work as hard as possible. And after that, we'll be done and take a 50-year vacation. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to ride off into the sunset, explore the world, go see Arwen in Europe, go to South America, go to Asia. We're going to be all over the place. What was Arwen's turning point when he knew he could do this full time?
I would say when I sold my first item, I knew that if I could sell one, I could sell 100 because there's no reason why I couldn't. Now, I knew that straight away I needed guidance and advice. And obviously, I was very lucky to find your channel, to find you, to find your group. And I think I wouldn't be where I am without you. And you know it anyways. I always say that to you. So I'm very thankful. But I would say that the realization came with, I mean, like everyone, I guess when the bank account starts going up a little bit and then you start paying your bills and then you start, just enjoying a little bit more life, I would say, yeah, that has a lot of potential. Then obviously just being very wise and very disciplined with the way we do eBay and we treat eBay, like a full-time business as such. And Yeah. Yeah.
Can you explain the VAT tax over there? So in the UK, when you sell 200,000,
Is at the minute the threshold is on 85 or 89, I think.
okay, so once you reach 85,000 in gross sales,
Yes.
the game changes.
Yeah.
What happens?
So you are required to pay what we called the VAT, which is, I think, the value added tax. And that is a tax that is going to come onto your gross sales for every 3 months. So every 3 months, they're going to see how much you've sold. Doesn't matter how much you spent, it's how much you've generated. And you're going to be taxed, whether it's 20%. There is different. So one thing for the chat to understand is in the UK, there is different. So let's call them programs that you can apply to. And depending on the kind of business that you run, you can either pay 20% VAT, you can some pay 7, 6%, but obviously those ones can't claim any back, you know? So in my case, for example, I'm currently paying 7% of my gross sales every 3 months. Is there a game changer? Yes, it is. However, it allows me to have no ceiling over me and like just to aim as high as I want.
Yeah. Are there people that try to stay under that?
100%. And for me, I respect them. Everyone runs the business how they want, you know. But for me, the beauty of eBay is to go as high as you want and to have that cap where anytime that you go and you're about to touch it, you just slow down, cut sales, put vacation mode. I mean, I don't know. You just know that you're gonna make the same every single year.
So if you have 100,000 in sales, gross sales top line,
Yeah.
you got to write a check for 7,000
Uh,
for the quarter, 7%.
yeah, if you're registered, yes, yes.
And do you get
No,
that money
sorry,
back?
not on the 100, on the 3 months that you generated.
Well, let's say in 3 months you generate 100,000.
Yes.
Then you have to pay 7,000
Yes,
bucks.
sir. Yes.
So you do that 4 times, you got to pay 28,000.
Yeah.
Off the top.
Off the top.
Do you get it back? Do you get a credit?
Nothing.
It's almost like a penalty.
Almost, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then if you did 200,000, you'd have to pay 14,000.
Yeah. The only thing that I would put out there is, and once again, I'm not an expert on this, you know, please don't take me my
We're just
word.
trying to get just an understanding of how it
But
is.
the ones that do 20% VAT, which they pay more, they are allowed to, any purchases that they've made during that quarter or those 3 months, they're allowed to get the VAT back. So that would be your, I believe, your tax sale that you have in the US. So whether it's they buy a computer or the new laptop, they can get that 20% back for them, you know. But for my case, because I buy secondhand items and you're not going to get receipts from the boot sales and the flea markets, there's nothing for me to claim besides some petrol.
So this is on top of your income tax? So like
Yes.
for us, we have to pay an income tax every year.
Yes.
So this is just off top, separate from income tax.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Sheesh. Sheesh. But then we started talking about for us and
Exactly.
state tax, sales tax, use tax, income tax,
health insurance
too.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Neil says, do you ever think you'll do a meetup? Right here, I'm meeting up with Arwen.
Yeah.
Arwen came from the UK. We're meeting up right now. So Corey says, who's the other guy? This is Arwen.
Yeah.
Young guy. He's from the UK. He came over here. I did a podcast with him about 2 or 3 months ago. Sells shoes in the UK. Does a fantastic job. Aspirations to be #1 in the UK. And I have no doubt in my mind that he can do it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be wasting my time. He came over here. He's been with me for a week. He left for about a day and a half and said, hey, I got to come back. I got to learn more. So he's going to hang out for the next week. And we've been going to flea markets, garage sales, church sales. #1 shoe seller we went to. You went with my best sourcer. Cleaned up the yard. We did yard work, laid sod. We did everything. Deanna says they've been adjusting their old listing titles, and as I see issues with 5,000 plus listings, it will take a while. So you got a few listings in your store. You learned the proper title structure. What method did you use to go through it and fix them all?
I used what you recommend on the group, which was amend and always do the extra work after doing your listings. Just try to do eventually perhaps the same. If you're doing 10 or 15, try to list those 15 and then amend another 15. And then slowly, believe it or not, very quickly you just catch up and then your store will be fixed within no time.
So current resident says they think I have so much knowledge that I can find something anywhere, but it's not about the knowledge. It's like a mind state. Like I can make money anytime, any place. If I got 20 minutes, we can make 20 bucks. Like there's no doubt in my mind. And I think that it's a mind state that you have to really open your eyes and kind of live the lifestyle and accept the gift of there's money everywhere. And part of the money everywhere thing is when you're driving down the road and you see a gas truck and it says Waller on the side and it says 0618. That guy has 618 trucks, at least one guy. There's money everywhere. And we just got to go out and get a little piece of it. Would you recommend having a personal site as well as having a good set of cool items, modern and vintage? I want to build a brand. If you're going to build a brand, I would definitely focus on Instagram and then also building your own website. But you can also sell on eBay as well under the same umbrella. And I don't think that there's any issue with doing modern and vintage at the same time. L says they need a thesaurus to find good descriptive words. They're not having any luck with the items, so keywords and things like that. What is the way that you learn keywords for your items?
The best way that I learned was, first of all, to attend the shoe call. I think it helped me honestly tremendously to see expert and talk to them and ask them as many questions as I wanted. And the second thing is one thing that you recommend, which is research time. Whenever we're done with that work, do that extra time of going through brands, going through whatever we sell, and then seeing why some are selling for more money than our ones, and seeing how they're structuring the titles, and just picking up every single one of those words. Perhaps in shoes there might be a little bit less, but when it comes to clothes, from what I know, and I'm no expert, but you will have those eventually pattern styles, Aztec prints, and all of those keywords that are going to make you rank better, and hopefully you're going to sell the item for more.
There you go. Chat jumped. Look, guys, we're almost to the bottom of the chat. If we beat the chat, it's over. So you guys better get some questions in. Otherwise, we're going to be up the road. Ready, Set, Retro says, how far does Arwen travel to source in the UK? And do your booties get rained off often?
Absolutely. So I've gone as far as going all the way up north to the other, so even past Liverpool. So it's around like a 4.5 hours drive for me, all the way there, and then obviously back. I have tried a lot of different places. When it comes to my flea market or boot sale route, I probably drive to 1, 2, 3, probably like 5 to 6 boot sales a week. I'm trying to do, whether it's in between during the week or at the weekends. And
do they get rained out?
Oh yeah, a lot. Yeah, absolutely. I was just talking with Tech before coming, and I told you that it was like 9 degrees where I was in the UK, and it was actually raining. So it's part of the deal. It's part of the business, and it's our job to, if the booties are closed due to the rain, to figure out people, suppliers, other ways to just go and acquire products, because the product is, I can guarantee, out there.
That's right. Colin says, knowing what you know now, if you could go back and have started a YouTube channel sooner, the answer is no. There's not enough time in the day to do reselling at a high level and YouTube at a high level. It's very, very difficult. Do you do your taxes every year or every 3 months? I'm not sure who that's to, but not tax advice. But, if you are running a business and you do owe taxes, they do have a thing called estimated quarterly taxes. As a matter of fact, that's due in 3 days. So if you have some estimated quarterly payments, make sure you send them out. I sent out mine the other day. How has the visit changed your mindset?
Wow, that's a great question. It has changed my mindset tremendously. I am someone that tries to fight for everything and work very hard for everything. I know how hard everything is, and I've never surrendered. But I think it's I think it has changed in seeing you always doing more. I said to you today, I was around the house, and I could not allow myself to sit down and not do anything, because you was working on your next video. I just saw you spend an hour and a half on 4 minutes of content.
That's right.
How can I allow myself to not do either revising titles, replying to emails, or even just helping you, with anything that I can? So I think finding ways to do more and more and more has really helped me. But the biggest takeaway that I take with me is that I can become the number one. And like, I've seen it and I believe it now. I know the path. I know it's going to be a long and hard path, but at the end, I know I can make it.
That's right. And like you said, I was downstairs. My wife was taking pictures for her eBay store. I heard you up there say, do you need any help? And my wife texted me and said, Arwen's looking for something to do. So she knew you were looking to get busy. And then you came down and you started working on your titles and working on some graphics for something that you're working on. And you know, we got to seize the moment. We have to seize the opportunity because let's face it, we got to do it tomorrow anyway. So we may as well get it done now. Current resident says, how many items does Arwen have in his store and how many items does he want to grow it to?
So I currently have around the thousand, I think it's 1,000 items in the store. And by the maths that we did together in the group, I think I would need, if I wanted to be where I want to be in my goals, I think I would need around 12,600 shoes in order to hit my daily goal of revenue.
And right now you have 1,000, but I saw this chart. I was pocket watching. You have like 1,400 sold.
Yeah, no, 1,200.
1,200
Yeah.
sold. So 1,000 active, 1,200 sold. So
Yes.
you're selling through very quickly.
Yeah.
So why do you think you're selling through this quickly?
Because I'm putting a lot of work and because I changed my whole business since coming into your group. I realized that having more is not always better. That has been so clear for me. And acquiring the knowledge on the brands that actually sell. I think people get confused in acquiring a lot of products for very cheap, and it's not always the right answer. I think I would rather now, and even I've seen you with my own eyes from you, where you are going to pay something a little premium, but you know that it has a seller before you even buy it, you know? And for me, it's getting into that mindset of thinking as a customer, thinking if a customer will buy it, do they want it? Is this trendy? And I think that has changed the whole operation. Have my cost gone up? Absolutely, a little bit. If people want to know in the chat, I used to be around the £3 to £4 cost of good marks in average, and now it has gone up to 7. But on the average sale price, I've probably seen a £20 increase in sales. So I will trade 3 into an extra 20 every single day of the week.
Every day of the week. And when it comes to that, you know, you said you're being more picky, maybe paying up a little bit.
Yeah.
You also had a takeaway for how many times I tell people no.
Oh, yes.
So whether it's at the flea market to try to offer me something, when we went to that warehouse and that guy had thousands of hats and he was trying to upsell me on other stuff, no, that's not for me. I'll try to find somebody else. No. And those kind of deals where I took only what I wanted, I paid $2,000. I'm going to sell it for 10,000. Great deal. That could have easily turned into me spending 4,000, 5,000 and bringing home a bunch of junk, maybe because I felt pressured, maybe because maybe I had an inkling that I could sell it. But like, if it's not for me, I'm leaving it. It's not for me. And then in the video, when I met up with Lou this week, I told him I would rather pay more for exactly the items that I want than to pay less to take everything, because taking everything, even taking garbage, costs time, costs money, costs effort to process garbage.
And if I could, I've been very lucky, and I know that I'm probably the one of the only ones that have been able to share this with you. But I've been lucky to go through what a tech sorting pile looks like. And one massive takeaway that I had from that is I think there was no items at all that were thrown into the bin. Every single item that you picked had exactly and was in exactly the condition that you wanted to. And I think me, and I'll put my hands out there, the amount of shoes that I bought out there, and when you come back home, you retouch the bubbles and perhaps they're like deflated or they're fake or whatever. I think we don't realize that those little mistakes start to pile up, and all of a sudden our cost of good also starts to go up as well, you know, and like we start having that mistake pile, you know. So I think that was a massive takeaway from me. The amount of no's that you say no way more than what you say yes, and you don't get carried by emotions whatsoever when closing a deal. And then how picky and how everything that you pick is exactly what you want.
And it's profitable.
Exactly.
No
Always.
losses.
No.
I say it on the call all the time. I don't take L's. I don't take losses.
No, I haven't seen one. So, and
it is against my vocabulary to take L's, to take losses. Also, as far as the emotion goes, when we went to Plant City, a guy called me over and he had 5 vintage champion jerseys, dead stock. Charles Barkley autograph, Michael Jordan autograph, Hakeem Olajuwon autograph, Shaquille O'Neal autograph. And I told him, hey, I would rather these not be autographed and I would buy them. dead stock champion basketball jerseys versus being autographed with no COA. I don't know if they're real or fake. But you said like you walked away from the deal and you don't even care.
Yeah.
But like you're right though, because some people that would crush them, that would break their heart, and maybe they would dwell on that for the rest of the day. But for me, hey, the deal wasn't there. We're off here. We're making more deals. Oh man, we got skipped again. Arwen, how much do you list versus how much do you sell per day? And you do the accountability post every single day. I could tell you 15 up, 15 out or more.
Yeah.
15 up, 17 out, 15 up, 20 out, 15 up, 15 out. So right now your store is kind of stable or even decreasing a little bit.
Decreasing a little bit.
So what's the next steps? What do you got to do?
I just need to list more, and I know now when I'm gonna go back, I am absolutely gonna change, and I can tell you that I'm gonna increase my listing goal for sure.
So how much? What's the next step?
I really want to go to 30.
15 to 30?
Yeah.
You got the storage space?
I think if I keep the volatility of the shop, I think I could. However, maybe it's a bit too much, but I definitely just want to get out of that 15 zone, whether it's 20, 25, but just get out of there.
So what do I say all the time? 15 to 30, I say, do you have enough storage space? What do I always say?
You always say that it's not only the listings, that it's
No. What do I always say? I always say, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, true.
So a lot of stuff, you're like, what are we going to do? I say, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the storage space, what am I going to do? We're going to figure it out. We're going to get another space.
Yeah.
We're going to figure it out. And we can't play scared.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the point, and once you hit the point, figure it out.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of stuff mapped out. I also have a lot of stuff that wasn't mapped out that I just had to figure out.
Yeah.
And you'll figure it out. You're a smart guy. If you start running out of space, you'll notice, and you'll say, I got to figure something out. Whether I need a storage unit, I need to get another garage, whatever you got to do, you just got to figure it out. D Bush says, Arwen, maybe lawn care in the future in the UK. During your eBay career, did you pay into Social Security? Of course. How many employees do each of you have? Arwen, how many employees?
It's just me.
Just him. For me, for the eBay business at the peak, I had 3 people that were doing the photography and the listing, and I had 2 people that were shipping. What do you mean when you say canvas? Canvas an area, canvas a flea market? You mean cover it? Like go through all the aisles. So to canvas a thrift store, to canvas a boot sale. What do you mean?
But I've never done.
No, because you always say you have to canvas the boot sale. Meaning like you have to get there and walk through all the aisles and see everything.
So I would just say just to cover as much as you can.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Cover as much ground as you can, be out there as much as you can, be as early as you can. That's what I've referred to.
Arwen, at what point will you start to add employees to help you?
So I've been blessed to have this question answered by the #1 in shoe seller. And I think when shipping will take a lot of time and majority of my time, I think that's when I will start to employ someone at least just to do the shipping.
That's right. And that means you're making so much money because you're shipping so many items that you can afford someone to help you ship. And when they help you ship, you spend more of your time listing more items. Elle says, do you shop at the bins? I find that the bins where I live are trash. What is the max you would pay for your goods? So a lot of my items, even in my eBay career, have come from the bins. I pay $5 per piece on average, and whatever they pay, $1 or $2. If you were in the States, what would your sourcing strategy be? Would you be a bins guy? Would you be a thrift guy? Would you be a flea market guy? What would you be?
I mean, I would be a flea market. I know we've spoken about this. I love the flea market, the life there is out there, and the amount of relationships that you can create. I think those are gold, Now, if I had maybe a little bit less capital to start with, because obviously the flea market is sometimes going to be some resellers out there as well, I would just go to the bins probably and try to be extremely picky with what I get. And I will definitely, the thrift have really impressed me. Not impressed me, sorry, it's not the word. Shocked me in the terms of the prices. I thought it was going to be way cheaper than that, but I also understood the way you had your business, why you did 2 ways to equal both of them, So I will definitely not leave everything at the flea. Obviously, I don't want to put all my eggs in the same basket, but I will do a mix of flea and bins.
That's right. And when you have that mixture, it helps to bring your average cost down. And
Yeah.
you saw firsthand at the flea market, I
Absolutely.
spent $5 for a hat, and you said, was that a good price? And I go, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then the next booth, I spent $1 on a very good hat.
Yes.
So my average cost of goods between the two was $3.
Mhm.
So all in all, it's good. Arwen, I know you're a shoe guy, but what was the all-time best vintage band shirt that you've ever come across in the UK? Have you come across any?
I've never. Oh, sorry, I'm lying. I found one when I started learning from the group, the tags,
Mm-hmm.
and I found a group called The Boys, which is apparently UK band local from the UK. People knew it, and it was a single stitch on you're gonna catch me on that one. The black tag.
Screen stars.
Twin Stars.
Screen
That's it.
stars. Okay.
That's it.
Nice. Do you remember what you sold it for?
I haven't sold it.
It's still for sale?
Yes.
That's okay. But the GOAT on the vintage band tees
Yes,
over there,
Mr. Jamie.
Mr. Jamie. Jamie knows his stuff. He showed some great items today on the show and tell. A lot of UK brands that we don't have over here. Even when we went to Epcot, we went to the London area. Musto, big brand. Rab, big brand. So we got to be on the lookout for those as well. How do you deal with nosy thrifters? I had someone joke about looking me up, and it's a privacy concern to me. I'm kind of paranoid. There's nothing you can do about it. If someone wants to find your store, they could find it, and that's the name of the game. Some stuff that I do that you've seen on my grandma card at the flea market, I have a black contractor's garbage bag. Nobody can see in. On the top of my bag, I put something upside down so you can't see in. At the thrift store, I throw stuff in there, and if people are being nosy, and if I see other thrifters, I'll throw a George shirt on the top. I'll throw a garbage shirt on the top. That way they can't see anything. But you do have to be very, very careful. Hypothetical question for me. Do you think you would oversource and then stash stock ready for winter? So for me, I live in Florida, so I'm lucky enough to have good amount of opportunity year round. I'm under the school of thought of list and wait, don't wait and list, because I don't want to have inventory I'm not making money on personally. So what about you? You say you have to cover the car boot just in a short amount of months and get a year's worth of stock. So what is the strategy in the UK for people to have an abundance of stock for a full year? Are there people that, go really hard and stockpile? What do you do? What are your thoughts on that?
For me, I go really hard on stacking. Now I have been a bit more lucky this year because after so many years of going to the flea markets, I think the connections have started to pay off, and I have been very fortunate to have those relationships, sort of like stacking some stock for me that I can rely throughout the winter. So I would say that has been very good for me. I would definitely consider to learn, because there's a whole new world, and you need to learn this stuff of sourcing online. I think the possibilities are out there. I think is a very powerful tool. Will it be here forever? I don't know, but so far it's working. So I would just jump on it and just get the most we can. So I would say yeah, I really go hard on stacking as much as I can.
Very good. Will says, do you have a specialist in the group who could give advice on training a VA? We do not. I'm of the belief that you should learn how to do it yourself, and you could do it way faster than a VA. Like you said, you're doing listings in 30 seconds. To give the information to a VA so they could do the listing would take more than 30 seconds. So, and it would be done right. Since it is a mindset and you are seeing opportunities everywhere, how will you be able to turn that off and enjoy a 50-year vacation? Guys, I've been on vacation for a long time. I wake up every single day and do exactly what I want to do. No one has told me what to do at any time. I have the freedom, I have the opportunities, and I have the options. If you have freedom, opportunities, and options, you've beat the game. I can wake up and do whatever I want to do. I can do what I choose to do when I want to, and then I have options to make money however I choose to make it. So for me, look, I'm good, trust me. Are you going to sell clothing on your eBay store or just hats? I'm gonna do eBay hats just for fun. I wholesale all the clothing out. You helped us pack a pallet. You said that was very impressive. We had that thing packed in under 10 minutes. Perfect cadence, great dance. Pallets are going out.
Lovely dance.
Yep, proper dance. Any nice flea markets in the Orlando area? Unfortunately, we couldn't go because the flea market's closed for the next couple of weeks, but there are some nice ones out there. Arwen, were you able to secure a supplier to ship to the UK? If you were, is it worth it with all the shipping and custom fees?
So it's a great question, and The contact is there thanks to tech. I think he gave me two massive leads in order to get supply into the UK. Now, the thing was always the same. We have the product, you figure out how to get it there. And now it's my homework to go back home, figure out how much it's going to cost me, how easy is it going to be? Because guys, the product is here. Like I've seen it from my own eyes. I've seen it in pictures. I've already received pictures with the stock ready to go. I just need to be a little bit patient and just see how it works on the other end, because I don't want to, mess the whole thing.
Mhm.
Don't want to rush it.
And when we went to the number one shoe seller, I said there's going to be 1 million pairs of shoes.
Yeah. Easily. I promise. I know you say, and people probably don't see it, can't see it.
Yeah.
But what I thought was how do you say, like scarcity? There was scarcity of that. We just found thousands by the pallet. There was all sorts of amazing brands that I probably find twice a year. And this guy had it by the pallet.
We have Carrie at home. She said Arwen is killing it with that sell-through. There you go.
Thank you,
Carrie, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Very good. Arwen, are there storage units in the UK, or would you have to get a warehouse?
No, there are plenty of storage units. There are office spaces. I think I learned that from what I've seen from tech. Storage is the easiest of problems to solve, and as you always said to me, you can't figure out none of that if you don't have the product. So yeah, I will find a way to do it, whether he's build something at the end of the garden, whether he's rent some garages, whether he's rent a warehouse, I will find a way to do it.
All right. And Red Poison says, how many listings do I have to make a day to make a full-time income or 3,000 or 4,000 a month minimum? Now, this is an impossible question to answer, but how can we work backwards and figure this out? We need to know our profit per item.
Yeah.
We need to know how many items we sell with our current store size. We need to figure out the magic number, as we refer it to. So how many listings in our store equate to one sale?
Yep.
And then we need to figure out how many items we have in our store that's going to give us X amount of sales at X amount of profit. That's going to give us $3,000 or $4,000 a month. And we went over that for 4 days a couple of months ago.
Straight 4 days.
4 days on the whiteboard. Arwen, would you ever branch out into other items, shirts or hats? And you do something very interesting.
So I have a second store with my partner, with my girlfriend, and we basically leased clothes there. And that second shop allow us to cover our mortgage, our bills, and our basically life expenses. And that sort of allow us the room of doing eBay for fun. And she's able to save her salary and I'm able to sell my salary. And then we're just able to keep growing and keep putting money aside together.
Very good. Wanda says, do you wash signed hats or hats that are new with tags? If they're new with tags unworn, then they're new. They are not required to be washed. If they are signed, I don't pick up too many of them. Sometimes we'll wash them. Sometimes we'll do a spot treatment. But everything is clean that is pre-owned. Chat jumps. You saw that, right? All right. We've almost beat the chat. So you guys are running out of time. We're going to beat the chat for like 22 weeks in a row. We're going to give Arwen a belt here for beating the chat. The World Wrestling belt. You're going to have it soon because we're going to beat the chat again. How do you prove an item is new without tags? It is impossible to prove. And I know you've asked me this question about 15 times on Instagram this week, and no answer that I can give you is sufficient. So I advise you to call eBay and get their guidance on it. There is no way to prove new without tags. If you want to say it's used and then list it new without tags, bless your heart, you are more than welcome to do it. The answers that I provide you were not good enough, so just call eBay and ask for their guidance. For older vintage jerseys, without names or teams around the 50s era, what category would you recommend listing in? I would list them in the men's category. Arwen, with flights so cheap within Europe, do you ever go to other nearby countries to source?
So let me say one thing that might surprise you. It was actually cheaper to come to the US than fly to my country back in Spain.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I had a really good deal to come over here. Now, your question is very interesting, and I would definitely consider if I was a bit less busy, because it takes a long time. And I gave a little insight inside the group where I actually took a flight back home to go and source. And unfortunately, I am very lucky to be in the UK. The quality of product in the UK is amazing. And in other countries, we also need to understand the culture, the way people live. And not everyone is carried by brands. Not everyone is carried by amounts and amounts of shoes and clothes and everything. And some people, especially in the south of Europe, Spain, Italy, and all these countries, they're happy with a t-shirt, a pair of flip-flops, and a pair of shorts.
Very good. Can you teach us about the wholesale biz in some videos? Sure, I can give you some pointers on that. Arwen, how do you avoid burnout?
I avoid burnout because my goal and end goal is so big that I just keep pushing. I think that is very important for every reseller. Set yourself a goal, look very, how is, I don't know in English, is it aim for the stars and you might reach the moon or something like that? Is
Yeah,
it something?
yeah.
So anyway,
Aim for the moon and you'll
aim,
reach the stars.
exactly.
You
So
got it.
just aim very high, set some goals. Don't be scared of setting massive goals and it will get there, and then you will have no down days, you will have no, I don't know. For me, there's no how do you say, like a bad day, you have less sales. Well, you might catch up tomorrow. It's no problem, we keep going.
Jeet says, do you ever feel obligated to go outsourcing?
In the UK, yes, I do have to go. Yeah. If I could remove that from my business and that stress from my business, it will be very good for me. But listen, as I always say, if it was so easy and so late for everyone will be doing it.
That's
So, I'm happy to go and be out there.
Question from my wife. Honest answer. Did you cry during the Lion King play at Animal Kingdom?
No, no, she knows it. She knows I didn't.
It's a very beautiful
It
play,
was a
though. It's
beautiful,
very
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Those guys are very talented. Ready, Set, Retro has a great question. We've touched on it a little
Yeah, I
bit.
told you.
If you were not with me, do
Yeah.
you still think it's easier to source in the States? I'm going to tell you this straight up. I have not thrown Arwen any bones at the church sale, at the flea market. This guy knows his stuff. Every single item he purchased was on his own accord. I did not purchase any items. I did not throw him any bones at not whatsoever. So if you are not with me,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think I can still come here and like still wipe the flea
I think
markets.
so too.
Yeah.
You did a fantastic job. You were, like I said, mid-sentence, this guy was up the road over here. He was like a dog smelling the shoes. The shoes are over there. I'm up the road. Over there, you knew what to pay. You knew what they were going to sell for. You knew the titles. You knew when to negotiate when needed. You did everything entirely by yourself. I didn't help him at all in that aspect. The only thing I helped with was bringing you to the flea market.
Yes.
After that, you were on your own up the road, and you told us when it was time to go home. We were out there. If you were popping, I said you're popping left and right here. This guy was out there. So there were no bones. There were nothing. But you said like that's gonna come up. You only found those because you were with me.
Yeah.
I don't buy shoes. I don't buy shoes. So I'm not out there looking for shoes. And how many times did I say, Arwen, are these good? You said no. Or how many times did you say, what about that shirt over there from 50 feet away? I go, it's a reprint. So you don't buy clothes. You don't buy clothes, so you don't know. I don't buy shoes, so I don't know. So I'm looking at these shoes and go, Arwen, what about these? No. So like it's no, you did a good job, man. Does Arwen have a YouTube channel where we can follow his progress?
Maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future. And Third Eye finds that Zach in the group, the guy with the blonde hair.
Oh, yeah.
He's in there. Aim for the stars. If you fail, you'll land on the moon. There you go.
Thank you.
How long did you guys source for? So the first time we went out was to the Lake Worth Flea Market. It was Thursday. We were out there for maybe 2 hours or so. And then we went to a thrift store. We went to the 2 flea markets on Sunday. That was probably our longest day. It was,
but the church sale was like in and
oh,
out.
the church sale was in and out. That was a Friday, and shout out to the piece dealer above who gave us the lead on that one. That was about 20 minutes. And the 2 flea markets, that was probably our longest day, and that was about from 7 to 12. And we woke up at either 5:30 or 6 that day. So that was our longest day. But look, every day is long here. And somebody asked something about something, and look, I've lived 5 lifetimes. My days are rock and roll, open to close. I wake up 5 minutes later, I'm rocking, and I'm rocking all the way till I go to sleep. And I'm 40 years old, still keeping up with these guys over here. Him and my son, we're still doing. After this, we might play baseball, we might play soccer. We're gonna do something. I'm 36. Is it too late to start? I'm gonna tell you no, because you can ask yourself the same question at 40, and it's still not going to be too late. And the guy who created one one of the most expensive liquors. He didn't start until he was 75 years old. And if he could do it, hey, all of us could do it. Current says, Arwen, you're such an impressive young man. Tonight has been so inspirational and encouraging. Very good.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Deborah said they're 53. Just go. Yeah, there's a bunch of people my age and older. Look, they have all the experience. They just got to get to work. Universal Studios or Disney World better? Arwen's never been to Universal, but I'll answer this one. Disney World is better. Universal is very small. It's very crowded. Coach Ultimo says, bring a boat if we're going to Lake Worth tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be bad. Tina says, where I'm from in the Ozarks, flea markets are buildings with vendor booths. The outdoor version is a swap meet. Yep. Ready, Set, Retro says, did you enjoy thrifting more in the States?
I absolutely loved it, and I think every single the flea market I loved. The thrift, I think all of them are a little bit the same, in all honesty. But for the flea market, I said to you, I could not dream of a better sort of a holiday or anything else to do.
Yeah.
But this is me,
Mhm.
and I loved the cultures, the languages, the people, everything around. And I think you guys have a beautiful mixed culture here in the US that everyone can benefit from it, and yeah, I think it's been amazing, and I hope it's the first of many trips to the US to come and get product.
That's right, and you're always welcome here if you come over. All right, what is your favorite tourist attraction in the UK? Where are you going to take us first?
I would say like to the most obvious, I would say I would take you to the Big Ben, to the London Eye, to the Parliament. I would take you to Buckingham Palace,
Okay.
do all those big parks.
And take my wife to all the Harry Potter
Yes,
and
secret locations.
all the Game of Thrones
Yes.
secret locations. Delilah says, did she hear that you flew all the way back to the UK and back to the US? No. He was in the US the whole time. Tyson versus Ali in the prime. That's a tough one. I'm too young for Ali, so I can't make the call. I just remember Tyson. I'll never forget. I was 12 years old. It was 1996, September 7th. That was the day Tupac Shakur was shot at the MGM. I'll never forget. I was with my dad at his friend's house, Brian Jackson, and the fight started. They went to get something out of the oven. By the time they got it out of the oven, the fight was over. I'll never forget that. So I've never seen Ali, so I can't say. How many Doc Martens did you find while you were here?
How many did we find together? We didn't pick them, but how many we saw? We saw so many DMs.
Yeah, unfortunately, you've had to leave so many.
Yeah.
You probably had to leave 50 to 75% of the items that you found because you just don't have enough room to take it home. Just Live says, did I ever go to the bins? I've been to the bins a handful of times, but it was never, a heavy part of my business model. All right, when we beat the chat, any last words for the people? I appreciate you jumping on with us tonight. I think this was fantastic. Like they said, it was inspirational and a very good amount of information. So that's mission accomplished. We'll give you the last words.
I just want to say thank you to everyone for hanging out with us. Thank you again to you to give me this chance to be in front of all of these beautiful people. And once again, thank you for having me. Hopefully I can do this again another day, another time. And I look forward to see tech over in the UK.
That's
I would
right.
welcome you like you've done for me. You've set the bar very high, and it will be my absolute pleasure and honor to make you visit the US to you and your family.
Very good. Very good. We appreciate everybody for hanging out with us, everybody jumping in with us. Here's our guy who gave us the lead for the church sale. Thank you, dealer. We appreciate you. And as always, we end every single call the same way. Be great. Thank you. Thank you, Arwen.